Good morning, family, and welcome to Morning Heart Devotion with Dr. Chungshik Yong, brought to you by your Heavenly Parent, Holy Community. Let us begin by greeting our Heavenly Parent and true parents. 천진 참부모님께 경배. 하루. Now I'd like to ask Reverend Milhan Stevens to lead us in the family pledge.
가정맹세 1. 처녀급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본향 땅을 찾아 본연의 창조 이상인 지상 천국과 천상 천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 처녀급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 중심, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 처녀급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과皇族권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 처녀급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조 이상인 천주대 가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 처녀급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 천상세계와 대상적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 처녀급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 천운을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 처녀급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심정문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 처녀급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 처녀급 시대를 맞이하여 절대 신앙, 절대 사랑, 절대 복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상 천국과 천상 천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
And to open us up in prayer this morning, I'd like to invite Kenji Uokawa to please unmute and pray for us.
Join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Parents, true parents, and all the brothers and sisters, good morning. Heavenly Parents, the year 2022, we have only very short time left. Reflecting this year, so many things happened. Heavenly Parents, through Mother, desperately bring victory to the Heavenly Providence. However, there are so many difficult situations, especially persecution in Japan. But however, this is a much different from the time we had a heavy persecution we had in America. Because of, as elder son nation, America really supporting Japan, and so many brothers and sisters really told us how much they appreciate. So we really need to unite because of we really need to support our parents' nation, which is Korea and Japan. And we really want to bring all the other sibling nations, entire world, Heavenly Parents. We really appreciate father and mother raised this nation. How many years? Most precious time with their parents was spent in this nation, America. So this is a time for the harvest. So please help together with us and encourage what we can do today and this week, this month, next year, every parents. I really appreciate Dr. Yong. Make us realize how much wonderful content was revealed through lecturing us divine principle and father and mother's word. Please, through today's lesson, please guide us to motivate us. Thank you for giving us opportunity. I report and pray our name, my name, our name Kenji and Taiko Walker, a blessing to the family. Amen and Aju.
Aju. Thank you so much for that beautiful prayer, Genji-san. Now let's go into our breakouts and share our appreciation points with one another, and we'll be back soon. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I hope you enjoyed your breakout session this morning. So first up, I would love to invite Aunt Nancy Valenz to please unmute and share with us.
Hey, good morning. I was very unprepared this morning. I logged on late, and then I got Rebecca, and I thought, oh, I'm going to get us to share publicly. So anyway, every morning I get up, and I'm so grateful for morning devotion. It's changed my life. I'm grateful for small things. I make myself a cup of coffee, and then I think how lucky I am that I can get up and make myself a cup of coffee. And it's just a little thing, but all the little things add up to your life. And I think of all the people who would love to be in my situation, just sitting with a cup of coffee. And then my gratitude is for prayers answered, because I was praying yesterday, and I asked God, please send me somebody to witness to. I want somebody that I can share true parents with. And the phone rang at, 4:00 in the afternoon. So God didn't wait around long to answer that prayer. It was a young man. To me, he's a young man. He's in his 50s now. He was my son's best friend growing up. He lives in Florida, and he's Jewish. And he called me to tell me how sorry he was that my husband had died. And in May, because he knew my husband very well. And he told me he's had a very deep conversion experience, and he met Jesus. And he's a devout Christian now, And we had the most wonderful conversation. And I talked to him, and I thought, wow, you better watch what you pray for, because you're going to get it. God only waited a couple of hours, and the phone rang, and I had been thinking of him, so I have to witness to him. And he told me his wife reads the Bible every single day, and we were talking about the Bible. This is a young man that was bar mitzvahed and very Jewish growing up, and just a lovely person. So God answered that prayer right away. I also prayed that the people who need to stay in my house would call me, because I have 3 rooms in my house now empty. And I got a phone call almost right away. And it was from a sister. I don't want to embarrass her, but she said, I don't know why I was inspired to call you, because I'm coming to Washington and I need a place to stay. And she said, please tell me if it's too soon, because I know you just lost your husband. I was thrilled. I said, no, absolutely, come and stay. We're good friends now. She's been here several times, and we just love each other. So I guess my gratitude is, in a nutshell, for prayers answered. And I've gotten to the point where I have to be careful what I pray for, because I'm going to get it. And sometimes at this point, I'm telling God, slow down. It's okay. I have a BC, a lovely young woman. She's moving in about 2 months. She's going to come and live with me. It's a wonderful situation. It's not a difficult situation. So anyway, I'm very grateful to God. God is real. God answers prayers. He's there. Watch out what you pray for, because you're going to get it. And I'm grateful.
Absolutely. God has a funny way of working in our lives, especially if we ask for it. God is like, okay, here you go. So thank you so much for sharing with us, Aunt Nancy. It was wonderful hearing your appreciation points. And next up, I would love to invite Aunt Yoshiko-san de Laurier to please unmute and share with us this morning.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Hi, good morning at everybody's. My appreciation is yesterday actually I was a breaking room, and then sister told me, I said this, I'm a small guy. I cannot good, strong influence to the outside peoples. So, and then got sad for me, or some kind of the things I told. So, and then she said, small seed, even small seed makes a big trees, like a big, it's even small ones. It's become a very, very big in the future, or descendant or any other things, miracle happened. So that's kind of the word makes me the date makes me the very powerful. And then yesterday I was making food for my husband, and very Saturday, very happy. He said he doesn't need a food, something like that. So I was very upset and then, disappointed, and then I was so much, it's no value or many other things is thinking about again. And then I was EDP reading, and then God knows my situation. God console me. So that is very, very makes me more, again, power. And then regret myself. And then I have to think about other person's situation, my husband's situation. So, and then it makes me more strong, happy days yesterday. So that is my appreciation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Yoshiko-san. It was lovely having you in my breakout room this morning. So now for our main message, Dr. Yong has prepared another recording for us. So let us open up our hearts and open up our minds and welcome Dr. Chungshik Yong for Morning Heart Devotion.
안녕하세요. Good morning, my dear brothers and sisters, clergy and ambassadors for peace. 안녕하십니까? Today, I'd like to talk about women as the turning point for peace from Mother's Anthology, Volume 2. Let's study.
Women as the turning point for peace. Therefore, it is time for all people to be humbly obedient to heaven's decree. Today, I hope you will bear in mind that that fateful day is approaching and that we need to devote ourselves completely with a life or death commitment for the remaining time, following the guidance of true Father, the King of Peace and Savior of humanity, who now presides over the providence from the heavenly realm and that of true Mother here on earth. Beloved women leaders, the course for humanity is set. Now that we have D-Day, which heaven has given us through true parents, what reason is there to hesitate? We now have less than 4 months. Heaven will bless endeavors to establish a world of peace based on the Able Women's UN. However, I would like to re-emphasize that the priority of the Able Women's UN should be creating a true family movement that emphasizes living for the sake of others based on true love, and carried out in conjunction with education and proper values. War and conflict arise from selfish motives, desiring to take others' land, others' possession, or the like by force. On the other hand, peace arises from investing oneself for the sake of others, that is, giving based on true love. Those leaders who turn their faces away from the new realities of the world or who fail to see them will be pushed aside by the changes coming upon us like a tsunami. I believe the time has now come for us to step forward boldly and receive new opportunities and values.
Yes. True parents have re-emphasized again and again and again that the Women's Federation as the Able Women's UN movement must prioritize creating true family movement that emphasize living for the sake of others based on the true love and carried out in conjunction with education in proper values. War and conflict arise from selfish motives, desire to take others' land and others' possessions or by force. On the other hand, peace arises from investing oneself for the sake of others. That is giving based on true love. Therefore, we must instill in all people the principle and values of true love centered on God. If anyone can live a life for others with the principle and values of true love, all the problems in the world will be solved. What True Mother has emphasized was that we must live a life that shows and educates the principle and values of true love. If we show it, everyone will follow. If we show how to be a true woman and true wife, true mother, and a true woman leader, the whole world will follow us, even if they are not told not to. That's why showing the model is the key from now on, because we have God, we have a true parent, we have a divine principle, and we can teach. The last thing is, how can we show? How can we become the model? That is the really most important our task and our portion of responsibility. Living divine principle, the spiritual fall 2, let's start EDP.
Motivation of the spiritual fall. Lucifer wanted to grasp the same central position in human society as he enjoyed in the angelic world, as the channel of God's love. This was why he seduced Eve, and this was the motivation of the spiritual fall. Lucifer, who left his proper position due to his excessive desire, and Eve, who wanted to open her eyes and become like God before the time was ripe, formed a common base and began give and take action. The power of the unprincipled love generated by their give and take led them to consummate an illicit sexual relationship on the spiritual plane.
The standard of the perfection in the world of human being and angels. Please, Heavenly Honey.
The perfection of angels in the angelic world is to be accomplished through a perfected person, not through God. Then lastly, all things are to be perfected. All things are to be perfected through a perfected person. The standard of perfection in the world of human beings and the angels is to accomplish a pair, couple. That of all things is to be accomplished when dominated by perfected human beings. If Adam and Eve get married, they are to enter the realm of God's direct dominion, as well as to have a first night in their marriage. Then they will never be able to fall again, neither their children.
Yes. The archangel and the angelic world are not perfected by angels themselves, nor is it by God. It is automatically completed when human beings reach perfection and govern the angels and the angelic world. In addition, when human beings reach perfection and dominate all things are completed. As long as there is no perfection of human beings, there is no perfection of angels, the angelic world, and all things. That's why our portion of responsibility as a human being, how much important. We are the one who make all things perfect. And also archangel and the angelic world become perfect. Right? Our portion of responsibility is really incredible. And perfection of all things and Lucifer. Let's read.
Perfection of all things means to receive God's love. All things are to realize God's love through human beings, one whose love is perfected, resembling God's image. The best way for all things to receive love from humans is for all things to be absorbed by humans and become part of human cells. In that sense, when all things are consumed by humans, they are loved the most. Lucifer knew the principle of creation better than anyone else. God had already fixed each role of parents, children, and servants according to the principle of creation. The parents are to judge the results upon the principle of creation, not to intervene the process, nor to evaluate it.
Yes. True Father said that all things consider it the most glorious when they are consumed through the human mouth. This is because when they are ingested by humans, they become part of the human body and become cells. By being eaten by humans, they become human cells. And all things become one with humans. Therefore, the Father said that human beings should think that they are eating God's love while consuming all things. Next.
Perfection in Adam and Eve. As long as Adam and Eve are able to keep their purity of their sexual organ before the marriage by God, they can be perfected. The responsibility of the archangel, Lucifer, was to protect them to keep their purity in the sexual organ before the marriage. If he had kept the standard, Adam and Eve would never have fallen. However, he committed the fall in an instant sexual desire while comforting and hugging Eve.
Yes. This is a very important content I'd like to explain more. Since Adam and Eve reached puberty, when they were 17 or 18 years old, they are bound to have a sexual curiosity. And at the time of the fall, Adam and Eve were at the completion level of the growth stage, with the level of love being almost the same as that of the archangel. When Adam and Eve fell, they had already reached puberty. When they reach puberty, they naturally become sexually curious. And the archangel also felt sexual temptation while watching Eve like that. According to God's principle of creation of love, pluses were created to attract minuses, and the minuses to attract pluses. At this time, Adam and Eve had to think about the commandment given by God. Even though there was a temptation from the archangel and their bodies pulled, they had to overcome temptation and keep their purity. Overcoming the temptation of the archangel was Adam and Eve's portion of responsibility. If they overcame the temptation, they would have stood in the position of the better owner than the archangel, because they would be in the position of the controlling their sexual organ, the organ of love. Just as the temptation come to our teenager when they reach puberty, God knew that when Adam and Eve pass the top of the growth stage, there will always be temptation from the archangel. So God gave them the commandment, my brothers and sisters. Of course, externally we are talking about, kind of temptation, but curiosity. So plus and minus need to give and take. If they don't have that kind of nature, plus nature, minus need to pull each other. If you don't have that kind of the character, how to make relationship between man and woman? This is the, natural law of the principle. That's why when Adam and Eve become 17 and 18 years old, become teenager, and then automatically take kind of the sexual curiosity. That is the original nature, not fall, not sin. And then archangel also kind of the same level. That's why Adam and Eve definitely need to pass through that kind of the, the level. That place was at the top of the growth stage. And then archangel also like kind of same spiritual standard. And then when archangel look at the Eve, wow, so beautiful. He feel like a temptation. At the time, Eve have to be careful because the physical desire very strong. Sometimes forget to God's word. That's why at that time we need to remind what God is saying. You need to understand what God is saying. What is God's commandment? If she remember God's commandment and overcome temptation and control her sexual temptation, this is her responsibility fulfilled. her job. Wow. That's why our children become 13 and 14, 16, 17. All temptation come. However, need to overcome that. If you overcome, have a self-control, wow, you can become qualification to become owner of the love. Definitely will come anyone. That's why, this is the natural process to overcome that kind of temptation. Important thing is how to overcome. You need to align to God. You need to know what is God's commandment. This is the important point. Today's youth ministry, the body is the tree of the my spirit self. So let's study.
The reason why we eat food. If there is no taste when eating, that person is sick. Every time you eat a meal, it tastes good. And if you are happy and thankful, it is proof that you are healthy. Every time I eat, when the food is good, I feel very happy. And I feel grateful to the person who prepared the meal. These people are mentally very healthy. And I am grateful to my mother who prepared the meal. Then I go further and thank God. But why do we eat food? Although it's just consuming food, in the end, we do it to make our hearts happy based on our physical bodies. Why do we eat delicious food? To make our hearts happy. From this standpoint, my heart is the God of my body. Then what is the purpose of making our hearts happy? It is to serve God, who is related to me, so that my inner self, my spirit self, grows well. Therefore, you need to know why you eat. It is not because of the body that we consume food.
Yeah. The purpose of the tree is to bear fruit, right? Fertilizing and pesticides sprayed on the trees is to produce good fruit. In the same way, the purpose of our physical body is for our spirit selves to bear fruit. What we eat, drink, and wear is ultimately for the growth of our spirit selves. Therefore, we must know that the purpose of the eating is not just to satisfy the physical body, but also to grow the inner self, which is the spiritual self. Every time I eat, when the food tastes so good, I feel very happy, and I feel grateful to the person who prepared the food. These people are mentally already very healthy. The purpose of eating food is to make our heart happy based on our physical bodies. Then, what's the purpose of making our hearts happy? It is to serve the God who is related to me well, so that my inner man, my spirit self, grows very well. From this standpoint, my heart is the God of my body. Therefore, we need to know why you eat. It is not because of this body that we eat a meal. And it is not just only to sustain the human life. Therefore, when we take food, we must always be grateful. Then all food enter my body and becomes energy to practice love. Father said, food is God's love. Do not think that you are eating food, but think that you are eating God's love. Think of God providing me with the energy of love through the food. When I eat the food my mother cooks, I eat her love. One of my ministry is a food ministry, as you know. Serving food to others is serving God's love to others. Before you go to the spiritual world, check how many people you serve the food to. 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people. Don't forget that serving food is sharing God's love. So whenever I have a meal with someone, I try to pay for the food all the time. My brothers and sisters, imagine, for example, that we live to be 100 years old, let's say. A year has 365 days, right? And if you serve food to others once a day for 365 days, that would be 36,500 times. If you serve 1 meal in a day. When I think about it, anyone who serves food to more than 30,000 people will never go to hell, I feel, and go to heaven. Because food is God's love. God's love. That's why when you're having a meal, not just only physically enjoying, really appreciate, wow, God providing this food. How, this food come to my table, how many people are really touching this food? Some are really planting and then, the bear fruit, and then someone about the, need to properly arrange it, bring to my table. Before that, need to cook very well. Need to process so many kind of people. That's why we really need to appreciate. If you eat, whenever you eat something, always appreciate. Wow, this is directly connect to your spiritual body. That's why food is what? God's love. We need to share God's love. That's why I really try to serve food. Whenever anyone having a meal together, if possible, I try to pay first. This kind of culture of the hospitality, always serving. The more I serving, the more I give the hospitality, God will provide everything. You never become minus. That's why I'm thinking that, before die, how many people I can feed? Let's just say once a day, at least once a day. And then 36,500 times. I do not know. I'm now 66 years old. How many times I bought food and served for other people? I did not calculate. Also, I do not want to calculate, but let's say that much. When we serving for others, giving food for others, this is sharing God's love. That's why we need to have this kind of mentality and that kind of concept and attitude. Always serving. Now, hospitality, the culture of the hospitality, very important. Then your spiritual body becomes very, very healthy and strong, right? My brothers and sisters, do not forget that the reason we eat food is to receive the energy of God's love and bear fruit in our spirit selves. Heavenly Honey, please read.
The body is the tree of my spirit self. Most of us think we eat because we are hungry. That is not the case. The body is the tree of my spirit self. The purpose of the physical body is to grow the spirit self. That is God's purpose of creation. The body eventually returns to dust. The relationship between the physical body and the spirit body is like that between a fruit and its tree. A farmer fertilizes a tree to make it bear fruit. A farmer wakes up at dawn to look after fruit trees and takes care of and loves the surrounding environment so that the tree can produce well. So why do we love our bodies? It is so that our spirit selves can bear fruits well through our physical bodies. You should know very well that your body develops your spirit self. However, the problem is that the physical life for the sake of the physical body has nothing to do with our spirit self.
Yes, thank you, Heavenly Honey. My body is the tree of my spirit self. The purpose of the physical body is to grow the spirit self, right? That's God's purpose of creation. Why do we love our bodies? It is so that our spirit selves can bear fruit well through our physical bodies. You should know very well that your body develops your spirit self. However, the problem is that the physical life for the sake of the physical body has nothing to do with our spirit self. The reason people in the world eat food is simply to satisfy hunger and maintain physical health. However, those who know the principle must not forget that the reason for eating is to become a person of love. Therefore, when we eat and drink, we should always eat with gratitude and love, knowing that it is for growth of our inner self, the spirit self. Very important, my brothers and sisters. Whenever you take any meal, need to think, just only satisfy my physical desire, or this one relate to my spiritual self or not? Really need to think about that. Today, I have presented about the body is the tree of my spirit self. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yong, for that beautiful, wonderful message. And now let's go into our living testimony. It will be given by Takeyoshi Miyamoto. We'll be sharing about his recent program, Thanksgiving Youth Reunion. Takeyoshi?
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you all. Thank you for having me. Today, I'll talk about a event that we held around Thanksgiving about a month ago. I'll share what happened, then I'll share some photos later. So we called this event Thanksgiving Youth Reunion. We held it on Saturday, November 26th of this year. And we held it from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. So just 5 hours. And we did it in the New Yorker hotel. We held it under Chinese People's Federation for World Peace, USA. And it seems like a lot of people don't know that the Chinese People's Federation for World Peace was started by True Mother, actually. So this is just this is the 1 year anniversary in Taiwan of the Chinese People's Federation. So just letting you know. Yes, but for the event, so what happened was we started out with introduction. Mom gave a short message on, thanking everyone for coming. We had about 40 people attend and about 5 guests. And then after that, we had icebreakers. So it was just an opportunity for everyone to get to know each other. There were a lot of second gen there. So, a good amount of people already knew each other, but still, the new people there were able to mingle with the second gen. So, a lot of new faces met each other, and it was a great opportunity to get to know each other better for the icebreakers. And then after that, we had a divine principle session. We did 2 sessions in the day. And the first session was about chapter 1, not all of chapter 1. I was really inspired by Joshua Holmes' testimony about when he did his 2-day workshop in UTS back a few months ago. And I was really inspired by his format of how he taught the divine principle. Instead of a lecturer lecturing for 45 minutes to an hour, they did readings of the 3 hour of the divine principle, and then they had a discussion of the questions based on the readings, and then after that, there's only a 15-minute commentary by Joshua. So we did something very similar. I gave him a reading of chapter 1 of divine principles, just some parts, and then we had 20 minutes of discussion where we had tables and people just discussed about what they read, and then the discussion questions. And then I actually gave the commentary afterward, and it was just about 10 to 15 minutes long. And I was just kind of summarizing in several points and elaborating on more points of my principle. So I thought that was a very great idea. And if anyone wants to hold divine principle workshop in the future, I'd recommend doing it that way. Then we had lunch for an hour, so that was more opportunity for people to get to know each other and talk more. Then we had another session of the Divine Principle. And then the second session was on the human fall, not all parts, just some parts, and we did it the same way. We had a reading, and then we had 20 minutes of discussion, and then we had commentary from me again. And then also throughout the performance, we had, throughout the workshop, we had several performances, just for entertainment and to liven up the spirit. So one of them, when we were arranging this workshop, Tongya Mudo from New Jersey asked if they could come and perform Tongya Mudo. So we invited them, and then they did that. And then we also had a few other performances from my spiritual son, Kosung, gave us a spot, gave an offering song, and then my spiritual granddaughter, Nancy, who gave a piano performance. So we had several of those. But yeah, after the Tongya Mudo performance, we actually invited Dr. Yong to come, and he gave us a special message during the workshop, during the gathering. And he, even though he was only there for that time and he didn't hear or know what happened in the other parts of the workshop, and especially in the Divine Principle session, I felt like he immediately had a good grasp of what we gained and what we were learning and reading about. And he gave a wonderful message about, he basically summarized that, heavenly parents are our parents and we are his children. And that's really part of the first blessing is to really know and understand and really feel that in our hearts. And he also went into how because of the fall, we severed that relationship with our heavenly parent. That's why we don't really feel that as we should. So I thought he wrapped up, both sessions really well, even though he wasn't even there for to hear what happened in the other sessions. So I really feel like he knew the atmosphere and he caught the spirit really well. And then after that, so finally, we ended with a youth game just for some fun and entertainment. And I think, some people had to go home early, but the people that stayed, I think we had a great time and it was a great spirit. So now let me share some photos of what happened in the event. There's my spiritual son, my ghost son. It's my spiritual granddaughter, Nancy. You can see this is during the discussion time. We had tables, we were discussing. You can see that they had the slides of the 3-hour divine principle in front of them, and they were, going to discussion questions. This is me giving some commentary on divine principle. This looks like session 1, chapter 1. Then this is lunchtime. The lunchtime, not only a time to eat, but also time for fellowship, to people to get to know each other. So that was the table I was in. Here's more food. Here's the Tongya Mudo performance. And here's Dr. Yong giving his special message. You see how when he gives his message, he never just stands in the front. He always goes around and, he would ask people questions too, like, what do you think is, the most fundamental thing that everyone should know that would create world peace? And his conclusion was, heavenly parent is our parent and we are his children. Also, Sunmi, she was the MC for the event, so I think that was a really great addition, and she really livened up the atmosphere. So I'm really thankful for her coming and her offering to be MC. Here's my discussion. There's me. There's my table that I was in, and then here's a picture of the youth game. I was the judge, and then we had 2 teams, and I think we had a great time. Here's the offering of the prizes for the winning team. And here's my mom giving a special greeting in the beginning. And here's a good picture. That's it for me. I hope that this it's inspiring to you. And yeah, hopefully if you have ideas to host a similar kind of event, this has inspired you to do the same. So that's it from me. Thank you for listening to my living testimony.
Thank you so much, Takayoshi. It's wonderful hearing about your program. Really feeding the spirits of our younger second generation and the people that have just joined as well. So thank you so much for taking that time and really being with our younger generation. Thank you. And thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you, Dr. Yong, for your wonderful message today. And thank you for preparing and recording every single day for us. And something that I took out from today is that your heart is the God of your body, that the body is the tree for our spirit self. So if we constantly feed that through love and affection, through community, and really being there around other people, if we can share that with others, then that will bring world peace, because we are your children, we are God's children and true parents' children. So thank you so much, Dr. Yong, for that wonderful message today. So now let's go into our breakout rooms and we'll share our takeaways with one another, and we'll be back soon. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I hope you enjoyed your breakout session. So first up, I would like to invite Etsuko-san, Kajisa, to please unmute and share with us.
Hi. Good morning. So I think Rebecca-san is going to share. She's wonderful sharing. So yeah, food is love. When in front of me there is a lot of food, I can smile. Automatically feel love, and then but I make food. I'm just thinking externally. Food is for body, nutritious to the body. So Dr. Yong always said, foreign people is very, very external. I'm just thinking food is for our body, but actually not inside the body. There is a spiritual self. So we give the spiritual self growing. Grow spiritual self. Purpose for our body is so. We are so grateful. Yes, our food, food, and our mother is made for us food, and our community today, local community potluck lunch. We're gonna make something for brothers and sisters. So I put love inside my ingredient. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Etsuko-san. Thank you. And actually, I would like to share today. I really liked today's reflection. And it was hard to summarize it in the beginning because it was just kind of going through my head. It was such an amazing message today. But something that stuck out to me, like I said earlier, the body is the tree for a spirit self, and your heart is the God of your body. You always hear growing up, I know in the States this is a saying, like the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. And that's a joke that my parents would always say, and then my dad would say about my mom's food. And they're always saying like, oh, you should learn how to cook for your future spouse, because that's the way that you can reach someone's heart is through their stomach. Because if you're hungry, you're hangry, and it kind of brings a negative energy because you don't have the energy to do things, and that can bring the spirit down of yourself and those around you. And so hearing the way that Dr. Yong was talking about it, it's like, wow, it really is true that food is God's love, and that if you think about it that way and you're making food for other people, you are hopefully making them happy, and then in turn it makes those around you happy and bright. And that was something that I really loved hearing from Dr. Yong today. And your body always needs food in order to grow. And you're always hearing you need food to grow healthy and strong. And well, you also need that to be able to grow spiritually. And that kind of brought me back to like workshops growing up. You always have the cooks that are cooking for you at these workshops. And we always make it a point to thank the cooks, because without them, we'd all be very upset and hungry and tired and not really paying attention to these lectures. And there is an uncle, Uncle Randy McFarland from the LA community. He was always in charge of the food menu at our workshops, and he was always had a very precise way of doing it. And when you think about it, he really wanted to give the best to the younger generation so that we could have that energy to have community with one another and really build a family within all of the younger generation and with our older generation as well, and kind of learn from the lectures. Because if we were hungry, we wouldn't be paying attention and we'd be upset, and that wouldn't be God's love. It was such an amazing talk today. So thank you so much, Dr. Yong. You amaze me every single day, and I love you very much. So yes. So thank you. And now we are going to go to our friendly reminders. Thank you to all who shared today. And so number one is to invite someone from your Trinity or your family or your community, and you'll be glad that you did. It's always so wonderful to see new faces join our community on morning devotion. And maybe a way you can introduce morning devotion is through food. Invite someone to your home and have dinner with them, and really share that heart with them. And number two, our content summaries and link to images are available on edu.familyfed.org, courtesy of Dr. Kylie. And number three is to joyfully give from your heart. Offer a prayer or offer a song and see how God may inspire you to give a little bit more of yourself to morning devotion. If you feel so inclined, there's a link in the chat if you would like to donate for morning devotion as well. And if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, there's a link at the bottom of the screen. So now for our musical offering, I would like to invite Kyoko Bowman to please unmute and share with us.
Hi, how are you? I sent the record, so you should just go on that
All right.
record.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to dance about the Tokyo Olympic celebration dance. Olympic come from all over the world. Many people celebrate together. And then this is the end of the year. We can celebrate victory of 2020. And I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Wow, that was so beautiful, Kyoko-san. That was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing with us this morning. So now to close us off in prayer, I would like to invite Kathy Casey to please unmute and pray for us.
Thank you, Rebecca. Please join me in prayer. Good morning, dearest Heavenly Parents. So grateful for this wonderful time together with brothers and sisters during morning devotion. We took away so many things, and the most important of that is feeding our brothers and sisters all around the world with love in whatever shape or form that is. We know that you operate through love, and that should be the frequency we tune in every day. During the spirit of Christmas and the holiday season, we want to remember the important things, and that is to really create an environment where people can feel love and appreciation and can feel your heart and your warmth through us as blessed families. I pray that we can multiply and bear fruit and really have wonderful moments and create memories with our brothers and sisters in our movement and also in our communities, whether it's through work or school or wherever we have the opportunity to touch people. We want to offer a victorious end of a new year to our true mother and really shower others with the efforts that she is making to really create a victorious end of a year. I pray that we as brothers and sisters united in your heart and in your vision can really support one another and be able to have that victory for this upcoming end of year and beginning of year 2023. We thank you so much once again. Thank you for Dr. Yong and his content, and thankful for all the brothers and sisters consistently joining morning devotion. We invite you and your presence in our day today. I report this prayer in the name of Spotted, Captain, and God, for blessings your family.
Aju, thank you so much for closing us off in prayer, Kathy. And I think I pronounced your last name wrong, so I apologize. I think it's Kase. So yes, Kathy Kase, there we go. Thank you so much for praying for us. And thank you to everyone who shared and those who prayed as well. I hope we see you back tomorrow morning and have an amazing, lovely Sunday. Bye.